Bonjour, je m'appelle Girli et je suis obsédée par Paris. I'm an English singer-songwriter and I'm in Paris, France, the city of love, the best pastries in the world, baguette, wine, cheese, fashion, style, art. It's kind of hard to find a city that more people are obsessed with.
Hey, it's Girli here. I have an obsessive personality and I'm on a mission around the world to learn more about myself by exploring what other people's obsessions are. What it is about them that makes them obsessed, keeps them coming back for more, teaches them about themselves, and what all the fuss is about that makes people stay obsessed with people, places, feelings, art, music, food, clothes, skating, life. This is my show I'm obsessed with.
Before we travelled to Paris, I interviewed my friend Manon, a makeup artist living there, for some of her top tips of what to do in the city. I'm here with my friend Manon, who is a makeup artist who lives in Paris. We are outside King's Cross, St Pancras station, which is where you get the Eurostar to Paris. I'm about to go to Paris. Manon just arrived to London from Paris. And I wanted to get some of your top tips for what I should do when I'm there. So what are your favorite spots to hang out in Paris?
I really like the Jardin des Tuileries. It's very close to everything, to a lot of shops. It's really next to the Louvre, so it's very cool.
It's like the gardens, it's really pretty and stuff, right?
In the summer there is a fair with attraction, candy floss.
Paris is obviously a very cafe culture. You know, you have your coffee and your cigarette and your...
On terrace.
Yeah, exactly. Are there any... Do you have a favorite cafe you like to go to?
I really liked, it's called Café des Chats. It's like a cat coffee, so that's very cute.
Are there actual cats?
Yeah. This is very cool.
Manon, you're a queer person living in Paris. How is it for queer people, queer nightlife, or just are there lots of things to do? Is there a good scene there? How do you find it?
There is a gay neighborhood, a queer neighborhood. This is pretty busy. There is a lot of drag shows, bars and stuff.
What's it called? I want to go.
Yaya Secreton, Greek restaurant. And on Sunday mornings, they do drag queens bingo, brunch. And I think it's all you can eat, but I'm not sure.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, sick. If I were to ask you, for full honesty, how do you feel about Paris? Do you love it? Do you hate it? What's your opinion? What would you say?
I don't love Paris as much as I love London, but there is cool places and beautiful museums, beautiful castles and stuff.
If I was to ask you what's something you're obsessed with about Paris, what would you say?
I really like thrift shops in Paris. I find them less expensive than London. Maybe I just don't know the good places. Thrift shopping is like Girli. Even it's very, very cheap, 2-3 euros. Also, you got one called Acide Violette. It's Y2K. This shop is doing events with, it's called Britney Market. And this is
Britney Market?
Britney Market. And it's a huge place, Y2K, fashion, jewelry. Sometimes there is tattoo artists, gem teeth.
So cute. Oh my God.
It's just so cool.
Thank you for that. I'm going to go check out some of those places. I hope you have the best trip in London.
Thank you.
Yay. So I'm in Paris for 24 hours to find the answer to the question, why are so many people obsessed with Paris? Join me on this journey when I'm obsessed with Paris. To start our morning, I grabbed a crepe and headed to the Sacré-Cœur.
I met her when I was still with my ex, but her lipstick was blood red. She wore her hair messed up. She was my best friend when I had a boyfriend.
I'm at the Sacré-Cœur, which is the highest point in Paris. It's a Roman Catholic basilica. It was built in 1875. Some people consider it to be the eyesore of Paris. I think it's pretty beautiful. Paris is known as the city of love, and this is one of the many places around the city where people attach locks with their couple names on them to show their love. And it's wild because there are so many here, and the cynic in me is I wonder how many of these people broke up. But no, it's really cute. Because I'll be self-promoting my music until I die, I brought some Girli stickers to Paris to see if I could dot them around in places. I decided to put one outside the Sacré-Cœur, just in case anyone wanted to discover some new music. I've always noticed such a massive disparity between the classy, expensive Paris, bougie Paris that everyone wants to go fulfill, and then the like really cheap aesthetic Paris. I'm kind of here for both. Yes. Toilet ashtray. I've already got my beret. I'm a Parisian already. Mona Lisa dabbing. That is the height of Parisian. This is Parisian culture. After all this walking around, I was starting to feel pretty hungry, and it was lunchtime, so I headed to one of the best rated boulangeries for one of the best baguettes in Paris. I'm in the Montmartre neighborhood of Paris, where they are known for their banging patisseries and boulangeries, and I have found a place that in 2011 made the best baguette in Paris. Apparently, if you win the prestigious Best Baguette in Paris award, you get to be the official president of France baguette maker. So let's see if these baguettes are all they've cooked up to be. Then I hopped on the metro to Pigalle. The metro in Paris, I don't know, there's something kind of cool about it. One of the things I noticed was that you open the doors yourself, which you don't do in London. I found that kind of cute. The Paris metro is designed really cool. There's loads of funky shapes, seats on the platforms, colours everywhere. And I feel like a lot of the underground systems in the world, when you travel on them, you really get a sense of the people and the heart and soul of the city. There's something kind of romantic about it, but I don't know if that's just me romanticizing being in Paris. I even managed to leave my mark in the form of a Girli sticker on the Parisian metro. I hopped off the metro at Pigalle, a touristy neighborhood known for its sex shops, theaters, and adult shows. The neighborhood's raunchy reputation even led to it being nicknamed Pig Alley by Allied soldiers in the Second World War. It's famous for the Moulin Rouge and loads of nightclubs and some things that we couldn't actually show in this video, otherwise YouTube would ban it. You'll just have to use your imagination. After exploring for a bit, I met up with my friend Crystal Murray and asked her a few things about what it's like to live in Paris. I'm here with singer-songwriter Crystal Murray at Chez Francis. Did I say that right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is one of your favorite places to hang out, right?
Yeah, I come here like every end of the day, you know, because it opens at like 6:30. Have a glass of wine.
Just a glass of wine.
Yeah,
you
and
know.
they always have cheese, and it's very
French.
It's a very French place, but at the same time, the people that comes in from all over the world.
I think that's really cool because that's kind of a big reason why I wanted to interview you. Is because I feel like you're so exciting and like fresh, and you make such cool art, and I feel like this is the side of Paris that I think a lot of, like, personally I don't see as much. You know, I'm in England and we're thinking Paris is like, ooh, like cheese and you know, bougie, like, you know, stuff, not like edgy cool music and fashion and stuff.
I feel like for a long time there was this big cliche of like the French girl, and it's like the white girl and like the red lipstick. You know, for a long time it was really present, and at some point the diaspora came in, like music came in, and the French girl cliche needed to change because it wasn't that anymore.
Because we were talking about Emily in Paris and
Yeah.
the whole like that cliche of
Yeah.
like, it's a very American view of Paris.
Yeah, totally.
Like, for you, what is it like being like making music, making art in Paris? Do you find it really exciting?
You know, I was born and raised here, so I have this romance with Paris that I really love. I love the streets, I love the people, I love every different area. I love how people can mix together. I actually made my first music here.
Yeah.
Even if I'm singing, I'm half American, so I'm singing in English. I write in English, but I know that I could never go and move to America because here is where I'm inspired, and here I feel like we have this European vision of living, of life, of partying. The days here, like the beginning of the night, everything flows, you know? There's something very flowy about Paris where you can really like get out of your house, and sometimes you just walk around and you finish at like 6 a.m. And then you know what happened, and just had a great moment, a great night.
Flowy, I like that. And you mentioned nightlife. I know you like to party.
Yeah.
What are your favorite like places to go out in Paris?
It depends, you know, because like I had my phases, my different phases. There was this, at some point I liked going to clubs, and it always depends on the DJ for me. I started going places where people put their sound system and collective comes, and it's a night where like music is the center of the party, you know. It's not the people, it's the music. When I started doing that, I realized that music without lyrics could make me feel a type of way, you know. Now I do some parties sometimes. I'm making my album, so I'm in my like emotional mood. I'm staying at home, I'm like, music. I did too much party, I think. But now, yeah, I do some parties with my label called Spin Desire. And I always try to mix like DJing. I have this DJ called Bruder Ramses. He's like an incredible DJ.
Sick.
And yeah, I like to mix. We do like this like 1 hour 30 set where we mix like voice and his like the selection of songs, his transitions, and I'm always like emceeing soulful and emotional ways. So it's very interesting. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
My last question is, what are some things you're obsessed with in Paris? So
I'm gonna say a really like Emily in Paris cliche, but it's really true. I love a terrace, like the terrace, you know.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
when
you
you're
get
like
your
outside,
coffee,
and
it's so easy, you know.
I feel like Parisians really know how to just sit.
We sit down.
Yeah.
We sit down and drink.
Just drink and observe. Shall we cheers? Cheers. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are back at the hotel to chill for a bit. I am feeling pretty tired, but we only have one night in Paris, and I really want to go and check out some of the nightlife. So we're gonna resurrect from the dead and go out and check out some bars. Paris is really known for its really small, cute, independent like bars, restaurants, and it has this kind of theme of loads of these speakeasy bars where you go in and it's like a restaurant and then there's a speakeasy behind it. So we're gonna go check out some of those that were recommended and go check out some of my favorite queer bars in the gay district Le Marais. So my first venture into Parisian nightlife started at this unsuspecting taco place that turned into a luxurious speakeasy through the crack of a door. I'm outside my favorite queer bar in Paris called La Minuterie. Something that strikes me about Paris is there are so many queer spaces and queer bars, and there's a real lack of those in London. There's a lot of club nights and stuff for queer people, but not like resident spaces where you can go, and in Paris there's a bunch of them, especially in this area. I always come to this bar when I'm in Paris because I love it so much. After a little boogie at La Mutinerie, it was time to call it a night and dream about the pain au chocolats I'd be eating in the morning. So I've just woken up in Paris and I'm gonna go to a patisserie and get a pain au chocolat. One thing I've noticed about Parisians is that they know how to do their mornings right. They have the fresh pastries, the fresh juice, the coffee, sitting out on the terrace, smoking a cigarette, watching the world go by. It's a really nice, relaxed vibe for the mornings, even in a hectic city like Paris. And I like that they care about those things. They prioritize chilling out and starting the day right. After enjoying a typical Parisian morning, I strolled over to the Shakespeare & Co. bookshop, but not before making a quick stop on the way to admire the River Seine and teach myself a little bit about it. I'm at the Notre Dame, which is by the Seine, and while I walk over the Seine River, I'm going to tell you some facts about it. The Seine is a 777-kilometer river that runs through Paris and the north of France. It is so dirty that it's illegal to swim in the Seine right now, although France are trying to clear it up. The river has been the subject of many famous paintings, including by Monet and Renoir. Every summer in Paris, the banks of the Seine are covered in sand, and it turns them into what is called the Paris plages, like the beaches of Paris. Joan of Arc's ashes were scattered in the Seine. I'm at Shakespeare & Company, which is a very little old bookshop in Paris. It was founded in 1919 by Sylvia Beach, who was an American woman. She founded this bookshop and it attracted loads of great writers of that century, including a lot of female writers. It championed a lot of female writers, and it was also one of the first places to publish queer novels, including James Joyce's Ulysses in 1922, which most places would not sell or publish. And she was kind of a pioneer in that sense. This bookshop is still here, and it's popular as ever. After we got to the bookshop, we came across this beautiful little square and decided to have a sit. I'm here in the Square Reni Viviani. It's one of the many really pretty little gardens in Paris. The one thing though I remember discovering about Paris when I spoke to a friend who lived here a few years ago was that there are not that many parks in actual Paris. There are some really big green spaces like outside the city, but in the actual city there's not a lot. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about London, is that there's so many amazing parks there, so many nature spaces. There's not a lot of that in Paris. So even though it's such a pretty city, you don't really get that much nature here, which I think if I lived here, I think that would start to frustrate me for sure, especially in summer. While I was on my way to do some thrifting, I stumbled across an art gallery that has a really interesting history. I'm at 59 Rivoli, which is a really infamous art gallery spot. It used to be an illegal squat. The artist occupied the building from 1999 onwards. In 2006, the city of Paris made the building legal, which meant it wasn't an illegal squat anymore. The artists were allowed to stay. It became known for its exhibitions, parties, art showcases, events, and it's still open today, 6 days a week for the public as an art gallery and a space. And it's really cool. One of the places my friend Manon suggested we visit in Paris is Girli for some real cheap thrifting. I am addicted to thrifting and I love secondhand shopping, so let's go. I don't have space in my suitcase though. Okay, so Girli Hall. I'm gonna get this turtleneck. I'm gonna get this scarf. It's €1.50. I think this is 50 cents. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get this turtleneck and this coat, which is €15 and is so cozy. Paris is known as a city of love. Everywhere you go, you see people on honeymoons, Valentine's trips, romantic getaways. There's lockets everywhere that people have attached to gates, bridges, monuments to symbolize their love for each other. I myself have been here a couple times with partners in romantic ways. There is something about this place that feels very classic and lovey and romantic. I think a part of that might be just because of the amount of history here and the amount of artists who have created here and been inspired by this place, and the amount of beauty that there is around you. It really is a special city. There aren't many cities that have been as untouched as Paris have. So many of the buildings here have stayed the same for hundreds of years. Even London hasn't really managed to do that everywhere, but Paris has. I'm at the airport, Paris Orly, about to leave after spending 24 hours, maybe a bit more, 36 hours in Paris. And I feel like this has actually been such a beautiful trip. And weirdly, everyone was like, oh my God, you're only going to Paris for like 24 hours? Oh, you're not going to get to see loads of stuff. But I feel like that amount of time really can help you vibe out a city. Paris is such a flow city. There was something that Crystal Murray mentioned when we were interviewing her about how you just go to one place and then you end up at some other bar and you end up meeting someone else and going to some kind of art gallery and and I feel like that perfectly sums it up as a place. It's a flow place. Anything is possible. Everyone is so stylish and confident in themselves. And yes, there's this cliche that Parisians are really rude. I think they just are confident and know what they want. And I really appreciate that. I think maybe because the same stereotype is said a lot about Londoners. So maybe I kind of connect with Parisians a little bit on that. Misunderstood. For me, the things I'm obsessed with in Paris are how fresh all the food is, how much they care about preserving history and beautiful things. I feel like Paris is a place where they care about beauty being all around. They care about the buildings being pretty, the food being pretty, the clothes being pretty, the people, the lifestyle. I really appreciate the slightly slower pace of life, even though it's in a major city. You know, people prioritize just sitting and drinking coffee and eating and smoking and watching and observing what's going on around you. There's like a mindfulness to it, which I really like. And it's, even though there's so much going on, it's so bustling, it's definitely less stressed. People, I think, know how to be a bit more chill here. I'm coming back here on tour on the 14th of April, 2023. I'm playing at Pop-Up. It'll be my first headline show in Paris. It'll be part of my Fucked It Up tour, the European leg. I'm really excited about that. If you're watching, if you live in Paris and you want to come see my show, come through. I'm excited. And I'm excited to show all the girls who are part of my touring party, like my favorite places in Paris now. Definitely the taco place with the bar behind it. I can safely say I'm obsessed with Paris. Paris, un bisou pour toi. Au revoir.